show us for sure?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I would have been down here. I was in a meeting.
What we're doing is kind of doing review stuff.
Okay.
I think it might be helpful for us to use it.
Okay. Did you hit record on your Mevo?
Publish. Maybe it's working now.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll walk back down there. They're looking at it on the Wi-Fi to see if it's
Okay.
on YouTube. So I'll walk down there.
Okay, great.
I won't bother you again.
Okay, no worries. If you want to, okay, check, you can. Okay, 20A. What do you guys know about parallel lines?
They never cross.
Yes, but what about their slopes?
They're
They're the same. Dylan and Chase, you're real close to getting a tally. This is the second time to spot you guys talking while we're doing something different, okay? So on number 20, and so it says we have this line y equals 4x minus 3, and we're not really going to do anything with that line except get the slope. So if this is a line and we have a different line that's parallel, what's the slope?
4x minus 3.
Just
4.
Just 4, right? 4 is the slope. So this is the slope. And on a parallel line, that's the slope that we use. So we're going to use this slope. And it says it goes through the point 8, 2. And so if I have a slope and I have a point, which form should I use? Point slope, right? It makes sense. Point slope. So we're going to go y minus what? 2.
The volume is really loud.
Is that something that
Yeah, he said.
or can they just
Warren
turn it down?
called me. He can.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Go ahead and try to solve this out for y now that I've set it up for you.
He said in the bottom right hand corner.
Maybe it's the tools. Let's see.
But do you see volume?
Nope.
Here.
There. Oh, here.
It's left hand corner. There you go.
Maybe back to the middle.
Probably. I'll come back or I'll text you if that's too loud.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, so how do I solve this for y, Carson?
You distribute.
Distribute. What is 4 times x? 4 times 8. And then add 2 to both sides. Whoever's in the back are talking, I need you guys to stop. And then what's negative 32 plus 2? Negative 30. So your final answer is 4x minus 30. Okay? The way you get that is by taking the parallel slope, taking the point, and plugging it in to point slope form. Just solve it from there. Okay? Perpendicular is going to be really similar, like the exact same steps, but we're going to use a different slope. So if this line was a slope of 4, then it's 1/4 and you have to make it negative. Because perpendicular, you have to take a negative sign and flip it. So this is 4 over 1. So we flip it to be 1 over 4. And you take the opposite negative, you make it positive. So this is your perpendicular slope. And we're still finding a line that goes through that same point. So we're going to put this into point slope form. Y minus what? 2 equals negative 1/4 x minus 8. Okay? Go ahead and try to finish this one out on your own. You're going to just, and a negative times a negative is a positive. And then we'll go over what the final answer is. But I want you guys to learn how to do it on your own. So distribute and then add 2 at the very end. Okay, so we know the slope is negative 1/4. So when you distribute, you'll get the negative 1/4 x. But then what do you get as your final answer when you move everything over to your y-intercept? Abby?
Wait, what do you mean, like that, the y equals, like the answer?
Yeah, y equals negative 1/4 x plus what? Or minus what? Plus 4? Is that what everybody else got?
Yes.
Yeah, because you get positive 2 and then you have to add 2, so it would be plus 4. Okay, since basketball guys are leaving, we might end up checking this at the end of class, but I'm just going to pass them in right now. And then I might pass them back out later and we'll check it after they leave. But go ahead and staple. So if you have graphs or more than one paper, was there graphs on this one?
No,
Okay.
I just needed down the line.
Okay.
That's what I wrote on paper.
Okay, staple if there's more than one piece, and then we're gonna pass it to Chase and Dylan. So Peyton and Jackson, you'll go up and over.
On the thing, I changed it to graph to count the lines for the dots, and I also counted it in the book, so if you're not working on those, I counted it. I'm not really. That makes any sense, like your dots,
Right.
counted in the one, that's what I did in my head, I probably should have. Don't do that.
And then I'll beat you.
Okay. What we're gonna do is, hey guys, I'm talking. We are going to do some notes, like review about all three types of linear equations that we learned: the slope-intercept form, the standard form, and the point-slope form. And then we're gonna do an actual like review game on Wednesday. So we're kind of doing a lot of review because it's been a long time since you guys have learned this. Now on the back of the notes is like a bingo board. I didn't make it. It's called Mevo. And so we're gonna play like a bingo game where it'll be kind of like notes as well, where I'm walking through some problems with you, but you're also like playing a game
So
as
it's
we're
like
doing
math
it.
bingo.
Math bingo, math.
So basically just,
But you can win bingo.
What are these for?
Yeah.
Do we get a gift card for winning?
A gift card, but maybe candy.
Can I get a gift card?
What are these for?
For a different class. I,
I get a gift card next year. Yes.
yes, you will have that next year.
Why'd you look at me? Get off your nose and come stay for You absolutely. Guilty of association. Are we gonna have homework tonight?
So are you just gonna blame the guy that killed the person or the person that gave him the gun?
Okay.
point, yes point.
If you guys wanna keep talking about the situation, I can keep giving more tallies.
Oh, please, how's the weather today?
Switches. Are we gonna have homework tonight?
You're not going to have homework tonight. What? Okay, we're doing like a review day. But review day, we don't have tests. Test is on Wednesday.
Wait, so we get 2 free? We get 2 days.
No, just today. Or day you'll have a review sheet as homework.
Oh, yeah.
Over the weekend, should we just go over?
Oh, yeah, mine's so, I wasn't on the travel.
I need something to do on the way to Dallas.
Okay, you guys should be putting your names. Chase, turn around. Your legs should be facing this way, okay? If you're sitting like that, that means you're about to talk that way.
What are you doing, Chase?
So we're just reviewing some key things that we learned this chapter. And then we're gonna do the bingo game, and then once the bingo game is over, we will the basketball guys will leave, and we will check the homework.
You should
Okay?
look into the camera that way, asking just like she's thinking.
She can't see me, she can only see the screen. What? You win candy, yeah. Okay, so let's practice raising our hands if you know the answer to a question. So does anyone remember what slope-intercept form is? Annie?
I can try.
Okay, try.
MX plus
Carly? Mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. This is going to be the form that you use most often. Okay, write this down. Y equals mx plus b. What does the m stand for? Slope. Okay, so all of this should sound familiar. We've learned this before. And the way that we graph it is by doing rise over run. Okay, so we always change our slope into a fraction when we're trying to graph, but when we write it in the equation, we reduce the fraction as much as possible.
Do you have another pencil? This pencil's like no way.
Here, you can use mine.
You want the second? There's some like these type of pencils. Okay, and then what does the B stand for? Because I think that's where most people get confused on this one. It's the y-intercept, and what does that mean? Y-intercept.
It's when the line
Touches what?
the Y.
The Y axis.
Where the line passes through the y-axis. That was a great definition, Ryan. The y-axis. Okay, so that's what the B stands for and the M stands for. So we're going to just do one example to remind us how to graph or do stuff in this form. So we've got a line that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -8. So first, let's write the equation. What would the equation be? Raise your hand. Okay.
Like the slope intercept or the y intercept?
What would the equation of this line be? The equation, yes.
Y equals 2x plus, or minus 8.
Right. It'd be like plus -8, but when there's a plus and a negative, you can just change it to minus. So 2x minus 8 would be your equation. 2 is the slope. So how could I write 2 as a fraction? 2 over 1. So that means I'm going to rise 2, because rising or vertical change is always on top, and then run 1. That means we're going up to right 1.
And you start at -8.
Start at, yep, -8 on the y-axis. That's 1 point on our graph, so we can start there. So go down to -8 and rise 2, go over 1.
Is this
Rise
my first
2.
graph roll paper?
This is on the first graph, yes. Okay, and you can make like 5 or 6 dots and then use a ruler or the edge of something to finish out your line. And your line should have arrows because equations technically cover like the whole graph. They would keep going and going and going, okay? There's your line. Any questions about slope-intercept form? No? Okay, that's the one we'll use the most often.
Wait. No.
You good?
The -8 is where we start, right?
Right, that's the first point that we make on the graph, and then we go up from there, up to over 1. Okay, next is standard form, and this is the type you might see the least often, but you'll still see it some, so that's why we're going to go over it. This is when the x and the y are on the same side. You've got a so x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, that's standard form. And it's been a long time since we've done this one. So this one, it'll be good that we're reviewing. We graph these by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So find the x-intercept Does anyone remember how we do those? So if you don't, that's okay. Yes.
The x-intercept,
Mm-hmm.
if it was already graphed, we should just look at the graph.
Yeah, if it was already graphed, you could just look at the graph, but on these, we're trying to find it from an equation. Ben, do you remember?
Replace everybody with 0.
Right. If we're trying to find the x-intercept, we plug in a 0 for y.
Does that,
And what if we're finding the y-intercept? Right, replace every x with 0 by, I should say, plugging in. I don't always use the best grammar on my notes, I'm sorry. I abbreviate a lot. But, okay, so we're going to find our two intercepts. When you know those 2 points, then you can just use a ruler and draw your line through them. And so what I'm going to do is find my x-intercept first. So again, replace y with 0. So anywhere there's a y, I'm going to put a 0. Because this is going to tell me the point 0, 2x. And what does x equal in that equation? 4, because we divide by 2. Okay, so x equals 4. That means my x-intercept is 4, 0. It's a point on the x-axis. So we can go ahead and make that point. Yes, Kaden?
so for slope intercept form, would you just, never mind, I don't know what I'm saying.
If you wanted to find both intercepts on slope intercept form, you do these exact same steps. You always plug in a 0 for y for the x-intercept.
Then
And
what
vice
you-
versa.
So you'd write like,
We're going to finish out this one, but you would use these same steps on slope intercept form. Okay, y-intercept. I'm replacing the y, the x with a 0. And so what happens to that first term?
delete zero.
Right, it's deleted. That's a good word for it, or it's gone. 2 times 0 is just 0. So it's so we just have negative y. Don't forget that negative sign because it matters. And you have to get rid of it. Adley, do you know how you get rid of a negative sign?
You do the division.
By negative on both sides. 8 divided by negative 1. So y equals negative 8. So that's your y-intercept. So we can graph that one. So
You always start on the y. Wait, never mind, carry on.
yeah, doesn't matter which one you do first as long as you find both of them. So we're going to go 0, negative 8 for point slope form. Mitchell. And what's the x1 and the y1? What is that talking about? Then for x1 and y1. This information passes through this point and has a slope of 2, and it wants me to graph it. We can solve this distributive property. What do you get when you distribute?
2x minus
And so you get y equals what?
2x minus 8.
Okay, so actually, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but I used the same equation for all 3 of these forms. You notice that? But they're just all in their different forms, okay? And so these are all the same graphs, but we're just seeing them presented differently. Does that make sense? This one still goes through 0, negative 8. So we can put a point on 0, negative 8. It also tells us that it goes through 1, negative 6 in the problem. So I can put a point there. And I know the slope is 2, so I can go up to right 1.
How would you get the
Up 2 over 1.
It's up 2 over 1. And so that is what your line will look like. And all 3 of your lines that we've drawn form the same. Yeah, on the one too, I'm going to show you what their equations look like, because a lot of people make those up. And then we'll be Okay, horizontal line. Which one is it? This is steep, like not. This one is undefined, and those are kind of just things. And looks like to come up with a trick to remember it, but horizontal lines are y equals. Yeah. Show you a line, and this is the horizontal line. Every single one of these points on the line has a y value of 0, 4, so it's y equals 4. So yeah, you can go ahead and draw that, or you can draw it anywhere, just make sure you change the number based off of where it's located. So the equations don't have an x and a y in them, they only have an x or they only have a y. A vertical line is x equals a number based off of wherever it's located. So if I over here going through the x is -9, so your equation would just be x equals -9. Okay, so if it goes through the x-axis, it's x equals. If it goes through the y-axis, it's y equals. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, how are you feeling about the stuff we reviewed today? Decent? Good? Okay, because this is kind of like what our tests will be over next week. Yes.
That's not too bad.
Well, this will be kind of easy.
Yes, Steven?
Wait, never mind. That was a dumb question.
You can still ask it if you're not sure.
Okay, can a line go, can a line go through the, like, middle line?
Yes, yes. No, that's not a dumb question. Okay,
But would it be a Y and an X?
so if you had a line that went down like this, that would be x equals 0. If you had a line that went like this on the x-axis, it'd be y equals 0. So yeah, that's a great question. Okay, all right, I'm going to give you instructions on this. So flip it over. And also, I would like you guys to grab a whiteboard because you don't have enough space on here to do your work. Okay? Can we do it on notebook? Can we do it on notebook paper to save it? Yeah, you can do notebook paper if you want to keep it. Chase, give me one. What? You're allowed to erase yourself. Why? And then I'll explain what you. And then once you sit back down, I want you to number your boxes randomly, 1 through 25. So like 1, 2. I know, it's okay. Well, where is it? I think it's because we don't have internet.
That means that she's not
No internet?
Wait, why are you numbering them like that?
So you're gonna this is what you're gonna do. Don't copy me, but number your board randomly with 1 through 25. Okay, there's 25 spaces. You fill them randomly. Okay. Dylan, can you stop humming, please? No free space. Number them 1 through 25. Do not duplicate any numbers and do it randomly. You don't want to just go in a row because you won't get a bingo if you do that. So do it all over the place.
I don't know how to do
We are doing math, but we're 1 through 25. You should have one of each number somewhere on the
There's not a free space, just so you know.
Sweetie, I did not hear you. Can you speak up?
Oh, I think it's working again, so that's good. Okay, so you're numbering it like this, randomly. Yeah, just randomly all over the place. Okay. Okay, we're going to start soon, so make sure your board is numbered.
Even this board?
No, just the math board.
We have 0 on here?
No 0, 1 through 25.
She said no, 1 through 25, not 0 through 25.
Okay, so on your whiteboard, or on your piece of paper if you don't want a whiteboard, we're going to be doing problems together, review problems, and I will do all of them with you so that you know if you're doing them right. But we'll do it. We're going to okay. And so at the bottom, so we solve this and put slope intercept. What do you get when you distribute?
5x plus y plus a equals 5x. Sorry.
And then last step.
Plus,
Y plus 8. Yeah.
So what equation at the bottom of your sheet matches that equation?
Y equals
10.
5x plus 8.
Yeah, number 10.
So what we're going to do is, I don't care if you use like a pen or just a pencil, it doesn't matter, but make a mark through number 10, because that means that that's one of yours that you got on your board.
Play again.
We're just going to play one.
So you can just cross it out?
Just cross it out.
Ooh,
Or color it in, whatever you want to do.
that's an
Okay?
M format.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to try this next one on your own, and then we'll check it. Like, I'll make sure you get the right answer before we move forward. Okay, so, Steven, we're working on the second one,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll check it, guys. Yeah, I found all of these when I ended up working them out. Your answer, go ahead and do that. If you want to wait to check it, you can wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Yes.
Are you coming to check? Are you coming down to check them?
I wasn't going to. I can check yours if you want. No. That's good, but you just don't need the last part because you never need to add or subtract there. You can just leave it off.
Can it be anyone?
So plus 0, you don't need to do that. So it's negative 2x. Which number is that?
24.
24. 24?
24.
It's 24.
Yes, I do.
Okay, next one.
Hey.
Okay.
Specific one we're looking for, like, does it have to be straight across?
Oh, good question. How do you win this bingo? You have to get 5 in a row, diagonal, horizontal, or vertical.
What?
This qual. Okay, on this one, when we're given, how do I write an equation?
No, the y, yeah. Which is x, y.
Let's start 8 over negative 2. What's the slope? Negative 4. So if I want to find the equation, we could do point slope form, or actually just looking at this, I know that one of these is the y-intercept. Which one of those is the y-intercept? The 3, because that's a point on the y-axis, and so I can just plug it into slope-intercept form, because I know that this is on the y-axis, because of this 0 right here. Okay, so 4x plus number 2. So same type of thing, but on this one, we do not know what the y-intercept is, so we have to find the slope. We have to put it in point slope, and we have to change it to slope intercept. Okay, I'll do this one with you. Someone tell me what the numerator would be of your slope.
Negative 5.
Plus, minus 1, negative 5 minus
Plus 6.
plus 6, yeah. So we get negative 6 over positive 9. Reduced it upside down.
Wait, why did you do that one? I didn't.
Wrong or something. It's 6 over 9. You should have gotten a 6 over negative 9. Because 1 plus 5 is what would be my next step?
In the form.
And which point should I use?
The -6 and 1, that one looks easier.
Yeah, this one does look easier. So we would do y minus 1 equals -2/3. Are you writing this down? -2/3, and then what's in the parentheses?
X plus 6.
X plus 6. We solve this out. -2/3 x is what we get when we distribute. -2/3 times 6.
-4.
-4? Okay, so what final answer, like which number? Number 7? Yeah. What's your final answer?
Yeah, because the 1 went first and then the 6 went first instead of the 3.
Put 18, so please.
No, it's 18.
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa.
Possible. Wait, why is it?
Because we
You
just
got 3/2?
Yeah, I got 3 over.
I thought the 1 plus 5.
No, it doesn't matter which way you go though. Because Abby, 1 plus 5 is 6.
So it's
Yes,
18.
but I got.
Oh, I added wrong right
Okay,
here.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Sorry. So -3 plus 6 is 3. So your slope is -2, right? Is that what you got? I need you guys to stop talking.
This is -2.
Okay, so this should be -2.
Hey, Alexa.
This would be -12. I had added my. Okay. Okay. Moving to the next one.
17.
Wait, it was 17.
It was 17. Does anyone have 2 in a row?
I do.
I have 1, 0.
Okay. I have a question for you. Just look at that table. Can you tell me which of those is steps?
14.
Is y-intercept. And so, you don't have to, but you need to find the slope of this table. Any ideas? Raise your hand. How you find the slope from a table?
Y.
Don't you do
Y.
that?
Minus Y.
You pick
1.
another.
Yeah.
And you pick 2 of them.
So we can do 18, 0, 18 minus 14, and 0 minus 2, and we would get 4/-2, so what's your slope? Whoever is humming, can you please stop?
-2.
Okay. 2, thank you. Formula is -2x, and what's your y-intercept?
Wait, what? -18. No, 18.
18. Okay, -2x plus 18.
It's for 9.
Okay, cross off number 9.
Which you made.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, we just found the slope using the slope intercept because it has a 0 here. So,
I bet.
okay, we're gonna stop playing if we can't. The word instead. If you... Okay. And think about what form you want to use.
It's listening.
Should be reading this and writing down an answer. Just the equation. Yeah, if you have it, you can give it to me. and then solve it out. Yours is good. You actually did an extra step that you didn't have to do, but that way you can get to the right answer. You have them flipped. Like the slope and the x should always come first, but yes. Yes.
Number 3.
It's number 3. Anyone have 3 in a row?
Yep.
Yeah. 3 in a row.
Are we just getting down till someone appears?
Yeah.
I had 2 3 in a row.
Okay. This one has a y-intercept of 1/2. So that's like the point. And the slope is 4/3. Which number is that?
7.
No. Stop guessing, please. Look at me.
Mommy.
What? Mommy.
Mommy.
You're an odd child.
12.
What?
Yes.
Number 12.
Oh snap. We get 19 anyways.
Okay, next.
I have 2 3.
Okay. Okay, because it has an undefined slope. So this is kind of what we talked about at the end of our notes today. What type of line has an undefined slope, Kate?
A vertical line.
A vertical line. And what does the equation of a vertical line look like?
Plus
X equals a number, right? So what's the x value of that? 3. So if x equals 3, the line that goes through that point, and that's the answer.
So it's
That's
number
easy.
I need one more.
They're easy if you can remember those properties, okay? Number 20.
I need one more.
If it has a y-intercept of 4, what is that written as an ordered pair, like a coordinate? What is an
4.
right, 0, 4. And what is an x-intercept of -5?
-5,
0. -5, 0. Okay? So if we know 2 points, we can find the slope. And then we can know the equation because this is the y-intercept and we'll use the number. We just need to know the slope. So let's do the slope formula for that one. Go ahead, find the slope between those 2 points. Okay? I'm going to let everyone do it. To find the slope between 0, 4 and -5, 0.
I'm getting a new marker. This one's out.
No, if you're just finding the slope, like y2 minus y1, x2 minus x.
Oh my gosh, that's number 25.
Wait, if this is empty, do I have to go down to one more?
What
Do I have to?
equation?
This is out. Do I have to go away?
If there's 2 negatives, does it make it
Yeah,
positive?
throw it away, thank you.
But we don't know what the y2 and y1 is.
Yeah, there are 2 points. There's x1 and y1, both.
Oh, if they're both,
Come back there and
they both end up.
Change it to a positive. You want to reduce as much as you can.
Yep, I figured.
So if there's each other, they just cancel each other out. So it's not even there anymore. So that's the right slope, and now we put it into an equation. What's the y-intercept?
4.
4. Okay. 4 is x over 25. Number 26. Checking the homework that they turned. Okay. What type of line? There's always someone that's like coming. Let's not.
Dylan, it's always.
Okay. Let's not.
Singing Lady Gaga.
Okay,
I was actually singing Daniel
Doesn't matter.
okay, what type of line has a slope of 0?
Horizontal.
Horizontal, and what's the equation of a horizontal line?
Y equals a number.
Okay, Dylan, if you don't stop, I will write you a tally. Okay, it's very distracting. Okay, y equals a number, and what's the number that y equals?
-2.
-2.
So now it's number 7.
So now, finally, Steven, you should have guessed on that one.
I didn't even do that.
I have three in a row.
I'm so alive.
I got 4 now.
Actually, I had 2 4s in one morning.
I need 0
Okay, look at this table. What's the y-intercept from this table?
14.
14.
Oh,
14 is the y-intercept, so you know it's going to be plus 14.
Wait, what number was that one we just did?
7. So it's going to be plus 14, but we need to find the slope. How do I find the slope?
just choose another. -5.
So if we choose this one, it'd be
Yeah.
14 minus 4 and 0 plus 5. What's 14 minus 4? 10 over 5.
1/2.
What's 10 over 5 though?
5.
No, 2.
Why is it 0 plus 5?
Because it's 0 minus -5.
Oh.
Okay, 2x plus 14.
That is 14.
14.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Oh, you're so cool.
Mevo. I said it louder.
Okay, you guys can both go. Hayden, read off your numbers.
Wait, what number is it? 14?
You go first.
25, 7, 14, 24, and
Bingo.
When they ask where you are, you just gotta tell them that you're finding where you're not finding candy.
It's gotta be 2. Okay. Chase, what are yours?
Mine's 2, 9, 7, 25, and 14.
7, 25, 14. Yes, and was there one other person that had a bingo? No? I think, okay, so you guys get candy.
Wait. I didn't check if I gave you anything. 14.
Sorry, I'm so low on candy, you only have 2 options.
I had Butterfingers. Butterfingers. What?
Okay, and then I think they're about to announce you guys to leave because it's 3:25. So you guys can put up your stuff. Keep these as notes because the back side is notes. Okay. And then you can put up your whiteboards.
Action? No. Okay.
So we just studied the equations. We just studied the equations.
Yeah, you don't have homework. We're just gonna review more on it. So you want to study hands or come ready on Monday to review?
Dylan, are you not in the game of one? Well, then you probably don't want to.
The people that are here, we're gonna correct.
Have you read the lyrics? Have you seen the lyrics? Obviously not, because you're ignorant.
He says babe, and I guess he says babe.
It doesn't matter, none of that song makes sense. What's the narcissism?
You forgot this.
Chase. Alexa.
Alright, you guys did good today.
He
We'll
Google.
review on
Hey,
Monday.
Google.
No homework.
Hey, Google.
I don't know.
Are we gonna have a
Hello.
No homework, show work with
Hey, Google.
For help before
We get around to watch a bunch of TV and say they're
Alicia. I would name mine Alexa. I would because I would name it Siri. I would name mine.
Siri.
I would name mine Isabel.
Okay, basketball boys, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna pass out the papers
should just nap.
Hey, y'all need to work on, hey! You guys need to work on figuring out what inside voices are, okay?
Are we gonna check on homework?
I'm waiting for them to leave.
Nobody makes it out.
So you guys need a colored pen. So, does everyone feel like they could check 2 papers at once?
I can't, and I won't. Wait, I have to break sleep.
You can try and
I got Carly's in chat. Carly in chat.
I like chasing
We're all hard brain. You know how I am.
Oh my god. What are the odds?
That is right. You won't even need that.
Let me make sure that there's
Who has mine? I have the same paper. I don't know. Am I not grading a paper?
Oh, I thought you were leaving. You look like you're hi, kid.
Oh no, I
You can bring one, like have someone this one. What are we gonna need help for? It says no one coming for help. I didn't say it, Jen. Okay, it's so bad. Basketball player, you may not talk. Okay, you're leaving early, so you sit quietly while we're doing what we're supposed to be doing in class. Okay. Alright, Kaden doesn't have a paper if someone wants to.
I gave him one. Wait a minute.
Tom, please release junior high boys basketball to the practice gym. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Charlie, I feel like our class would be a lot more quiet.
What? I didn't do it.
Okay, number 1, the slope is -2. So you're checking this on both papers if you have 2. And the point is -1, 3.
What if they don't have a point?
Then it's -half.
What is not in the correct form?
What do you mean? No, so they have to have m equals -2 or slope equals -2. And they have to have the point -1, 3. If they do not have that exactly, then it's wrong.
What if they
Okay.
put +1?
That part of it's wrong. You got everything else right?
Wait,
I'm
so done with sleeping.
Okay, number 3 is y minus 0 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. Y minus 0 equals 1/2 times x plus 2. Number 4.
Whoa.
Okay, use wisdom so you don't have to ask him a question. So if they miss a minus sign, take off a half. If they miss multiple minus signs, take off the whole point. Yes.
What happens if they circled one that's not it, but they have the answer on it?
Then
They just work harder than they were supposed to.
then that's fine. Okay. Number, Kaden, please sit down. Wait, what was number 3? Number 4. Okay, number 3. Y minus 0 equals 1/2 times x plus 2.
That was 4?
This
That
one's
was
right.
3. Number 4, y minus 3 equals negative 3/4 times x plus 4. Y minus 3 equals negative 3/4 times x plus 4.
I'm sorry, she I think she solved went into the other, so are they wrong? I think she just went into the other form.
No, but check and make sure they have that first, the point slope form first.
Okay.
So they do have to have that answer somewhere.
Okay.
If they went further, then they don't get any bonus points, but they don't get it wrong. Okay, number 5 is y plus 1 equals negative 3 times x minus 3. Y plus 1 equals negative 3 times x minus 3.
That was 5.
What if they put a plus sign instead of a minus sign on one?
Then that's half off, and if they did it on 2 different places, then it's all wrong. Okay, number 7 is y minus 8. Number 6. Number 6, y minus 0 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 3. Y minus 0 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 3. Number 7 is y minus 8 equals 3/4 times x minus 4. Y minus 8 equals 3/4 times x minus 4. 8 is y plus 3 equals 4 times x minus 1. Y plus 3 equals 4 times x minus 1. Number 9 is y plus 5 equals negative 1/7 x minus 7. Y plus 5 equals negative 1/7 times x minus 7. Number 10 is y minus 3 equals 5/3 times x minus 3. Y minus 3 equals 5/3 times x minus 3. Number 11, is everyone doing okay so far?
Yes.
Number 11 is y plus 4 equals negative 2 times x plus 1. So it's y plus 4 and x plus 1. Okay, number 12, on these they had to solve it out. So it's y equals 3x plus 2. Y equals 3x plus 2.
What if they just have the answer?
What if they did
That
y?
is the answer.
What if they did y equals 2x plus 3?
No, they have to.
They did
Just
put the plus
have y
3.
equals 3x.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if they don't have this exactly, then it's wrong.
What if they didn't work out the problem, they just have the answer?
Like point slope form?
Mm.
Then it's wrong. It says right in slope intercept form. So yeah, on these they have to be pretty much exactly the same. Y equals 3x plus 2. Number 13 is y equals 2x plus 0, or if they just had y equals 2x, that's great.
What if they just have 2?
Nope. 14, y equals x plus 5, or 1x plus 5. 14. Y equals x plus 5. 15 is y equals 1/4 x, or 1/4 x plus 0. 18 we did together. 19a is either y equals or v equals negative 4,000 x plus 30,000. Negative 4,000 x plus 30,000.
If they don't have the x, is it half wrong or is it wrong at all?
They just forgot the x. Just write it in for them.
Okay.
Letter. Oh, if they have 30,000 minus 4,000 x, that's correct. 30,000 minus 4,000 x is the same thing. Yes.
If they did 17, is that wrong?
No, they just don't get credit for it, but it's not gone. Okay, letter B is $30,000.
What if they don't have the dollar sign?
Remember on homework, we don't take off points without a test, they would miss points for it. So 20 we did together. So total of how many? If they missed an A and a B, they're separate problems. Thank you guys for helping me grade. Those take a long time to get out. No, it's okay. Sorry, I was being impatient. Okay, 13. Are you looking at 13? Yeah, they didn't do the whole problem. Those are wrong. All of them? Yeah, all of them. That is not the correct type of answer. They needed to have an equation and they just found a slope. So all of those are
It's
wrong.
like the best I've ever done.
And same here. All of these are wrong because they just found a slope. They did not write the equation. And so, yeah, all of those are wrong. Yes.
I don't wanna make that mistake again. You missed number 3, so I put minus.
We have a minute
don't do
left in
that.
class, so it's not gonna be worth it.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pack up.
Yeah, go ahead and pack up.
I really hope I did that right. I tried my best.
See what I did now.
No, I think you did good.
Oh no.
You did good. Yeet.